Hey guys, check it out. It's one of these expression pedal things. I've had this thing for like probably over a year now, and I've hardly ever used it. I've only plugged it into something like a few times. I've always thought it'd be really cool if I could work this in to my rig, but I've never really known how. Never really known like how to use this thing. So I thought today I'd plug it into my 500X and see what happens. So I guess let's do it. There's hair attached to this Velcro. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is to plug the expression pedal into the pedal 2 input here. And as soon as I do that, the LEDs for expression pedal 1 and 2 both light up. It means both of the expression pedals are currently active. Now the default on the 500X is any wah effects are automatically assigned to expression pedal 1, and any volume pedal effect is assigned to expression pedal 2. But of course, we can change these assignments later on. Okay, let's take a look at the 500X edit software. Now, everything I'm gonna do in the edit software, you should be able to do directly on the 500X. I am running Mac OS High Sierra, and I believe that might be one of the latest Mac OSs that is supported by Line 6's drivers. So if you have like the most recent operating system from Apple, it might not be supported by Line 6 anymore. So if you can't get the 500X edit software to work, it's a bummer, but you should still be able to do all of this stuff right on the 500X itself. Just for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna do it in the software. It makes it a little easier to visually see what I'm doing here. So let's pull up an amp. Let's do this divided. Turn up the drive a little bit, crank the volume. All right, cool. Go to the effects tab. First effect I'm gonna throw in is gonna be a compressor. We're gonna do this Dynacomp style compressor. Okay, then we'll pull in our volume pedal. Throw in reverb, do a particle verb, and also let's throw in the octo reverb. This will give us a lot of shimmery sounds. Also I can turn my volume down while I do this. Let's throw in the stereo delay. We're gonna do quarter notes left, and which one is it? It might be this triplet eighth note on the right. Okay, and then let's also throw in, let's try the tube drive. I don't really use this one a lot, but let's try it. Okay, let's turn most of these off. Okay, now let's go through and let's assign some parameters. So to do this, we go to the controllers section right here. And to do that on the 500X, double press to assign control. So if we double click the move button over an effect, it's gonna give us the controller assign. And so we get similar options here that we get in the edit software. So first thing to do is to tell it which effect that we want to assign parameters to. So we go to the model. Let's start with our particle verb. The foot switch assign, this is gonna tell the 500X which foot switch turns that effect on or off. So for what we're doing, we don't really need to worry about that, so we'll just leave it how it is. What we want to focus in on is the parameter and controller options here. So parameter is going to be like, which thing are we controlling? And so let's start off by the mix. So we'll select mix. For controller, let's set it for expression 2. We're going to make the Roland pedal be the expression pedal. Now here on the right, the minimum and maximum knobs. This is a pretty cool feature. Maybe a little confusing at first until you kind of get a grasp for it. Let's say we have the expression pedal all the way off, or like the heel all the way down. We don't necessarily have to turn the mix parameter all the way to 0. We could just say that the lowest we want the mix to ever go is 50%. And then for the max, when we have the toe all the way down, it doesn't have to go to 100%. We can just say go up to let's say like maybe 85. So we're just setting the limits for that parameter. That's really useful because sometimes when you're playing a song, you may want the mix to stay at 50%, except for certain parts where you want to crank it up. So if you set your minimum for 50, then all you have to do is just keep the expression pedal heel down, and it'll just stay at that 50% right where you want it. You don't have to try to guess like where is exactly 50% and try to get the pedal just right. Just slam the heel down and it's right where you want it. And then you have all this room to play with to bring in more mix. So let's see how this is sounding. One thing that I've noticed that's a little tricky is when you start tweaking the controller settings on the 500X itself, it goes into the controller assign mode and it just stays in it until you like either hit the view button on the 500X or like in the software, turn an effect off and then turn it back on. And then it kind of brings the 500X out of that controller assign mode. Just a little thing that I noticed. One other thing, I better change the volume pedal to expression 1. So we'll go here to model, volume pedal, foot switch assign, we're gonna just say none, and 1. Okay, and then get out of that. Okay, so this is with the expression pedal heel all the way down, so this is 50% on the mix. And that's maxed out. We can bring it back down. Kind of cool, huh? And what's really awesome is that I don't think there's actually a limit to how many parameters we can assign to an expression pedal. So we could go back in here to the particle verb and we could say, we could adjust all of these a little bit. So expression 2, I like to turn the gain up a little bit on the particle verb. So we'll kind of start it off at like somewhere around there, 60, and then that's probably good, 80. And then dwell. This could get a little out of hand, so I like to keep the dwell a little bit lower. And we'll just make the maximum be that 80. Cool. So let's go to our octo verb. We'll do mix. Expression 2. For this, we'll go there. Tone, we're gonna leave at 100. I don't want to mess with that. Pre-delay. And then decay. That's pretty good, just like that. All right, that's awesome. All right, then what else we have? Oh, we got the delay. So I'm gonna turn that on. Controllers, we're gonna go to stereo delay. And now for this, let's go to mix. Expression 2. Crank it up to about there. I'm not gonna mess with the time, but let's mess with the feedback a little bit. We'll do something like this. You gotta be a little careful with the feedback on delays and reverbs, because sometimes if it goes to like full 100% or close to it, it'll kind of like oscillate, where it'll just get in its own feedback loop, and the level will just build and build and build. You know, it'll just get louder and louder and louder, and so an effect could kind of get away from you. So I usually try to avoid a full 100%. Do something like that. Cool. Let's throw in some tube drive. We'll bring the drive down a little bit. Okay, I like the drive about there. I just want to use this tube drive to add some bite and grit as we crank up that expression pedal. So I don't want it to be too out of control from the beginning. Go here, tube drive. Yeah, drive 2. Bring it down to like there. And up to about there. And then output. This could get a little out of hand, but we're just gonna go for it. Where is it already set? About there? I'll just give it a little bit. I don't want to go too crazy. Okay. Okay, cool. Is that all the effects? I guess so. Maybe I'll just jam something here with the expression pedal and even with the volume pedal too a little bit. All right, sweet. Don't really know what to do with this, but it sounds kind of cool. So there you go. That's plugging an expression pedal into the 500X. Hopefully this video was useful to you. Hopefully you learned something. If you did, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe for more cool videos like this. And well, I'm gonna keep messing with this thing, but until next time, see you later.